Cheers, everybody, and welcome to the Driver Recruiting Happy Hour podcast. My name is Darin Williams. I'm the president of CDLjobs.com. And with me, as always, my colleague, the president of Ten4 Recruiting, and a man that, with a little bit of luck and the right performance, will become the first male Dallas Cowboys cheerleader next month.
That's true.
Pete.
True. No, it's true. I cannot.
How's the routine going?
It's going good. The splits is still tough.
I would imagine.
Yes. Back handsprings are a little bit rusty into a split. It's not happening. I mean, the stretching I'm doing a lot of yoga, doing a lot of breathing exercises, especially when I go into the split.
Breathing exercises or screaming exercises?
Both, especially when you get in that position, it's just like.
What sort of get up do you wear to this thing? Do you wear the cheerleader's skirt, or do they wear a skirt anymore? They just wear shorts.
Well, I don't know. I mean, depending on how old our audience is, I don't know, and maybe they're still wearing them these days. But I wear tree torn shoes. So that needs to be a mention in the podcast, in the sense of when we get posted, like, have you ever heard of tree torn shoes? Tree torn shoes are like the most popular brand of cheerleading shoes. And the reason why I know that is my sister.
You better explain.
Yeah, both were cheerleaders. And so you think of like swatches. Y'all remember Swatch Watch? They were big.
Yeah.
Tree torn shoes were big just like that. You had to have the tree torns. They had these little colors that you can put inside on the side of the shoe to kind of match your high school or your junior high, whatever you're cheering for. And so, we used to have a house full of cheerleaders. I hated it. It was so bad those times.
That sounds like a terrible teenage childhood.
It was horrible teenage childhood, but tree torn shoes, some tidies, little tidy shorts, little short. Jorts is usually my go-to. For those who don't know what jorts are, those are
jorts with cowboy boots.
No cowboy boots, but tree torns. But here's the thing with jorts, and a lot of people don't understand when I say you have to have a good fray ratio. So a lot of people just go and take their jean shorts and they'll just cut them right off and put them on. No. Fray ratio is actually when you take the jean shorts that you made, not you go to the store and buy them, you have to make them. Then you put them in the washing machine and then the dryer, and that fray starts coming in. So you have some long fray from your thigh is, it hangs down a little bit. So
kind of risque.
Yeah, a little bit. You got to have a good fray ratio. If not, then it just looks like something you just went to the store and bought, nothing that you made homemade.
So you're very concerned with showing just the right amount of thigh when you wear your shorts.
You have to have a good amount. I played soccer growing up. I feel like I have some good thighs. I mean, I'm looking at them right now, flexing, mighty fine. Now, I mean, I could probably use some Nair, you know what I mean? Just rub some Nair on these, get them where they need to. And that might put me over the top with the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. But it's going good. How are you doing?
I just learned a lot. I feel educated.
That's this thing. I think I bring a lot of it's worthless knowledge, but to these podcasts, but at the same time, when you sit back,
that's the right way to say it.
It is, yeah. But when you sit, you go, "What did I learn today?" Tree torns. How many people are going to Google tree torn shoes, or how many people right now are going to go, "Oh my gosh, I had tree torns." Now, I'm just saying that's just a little tiny little bit of knowledge that I think that if I can provide to the world, then I'm good. I'm okay with that. I'm okay. Someone learned something new. I'm okay with that.
Hey, speaking of providing knowledge, what about these guys we have on our show today? They're the owners of the Tennessee CDL school.
Yeah. I mean,
Shawn Davis and his boss, Priscilla Davis.
You've never heard of tree torns?
No, did you?
Yes.
How do you know them?
We're the same age.
You have sisters.
I don't, but I'm old as.
Priscilla, I'm with you. I have no idea. I've never ever heard of tree torn shoes.
It has nothing to do with old.
Age.
Obviously.
Hey.
I'm just kidding.
Maybe it does, because I am old and I've never heard of them. I also didn't hang around a whole lot of high school cheerleaders when I was when they're look at their shoes. So that might be it.
Oh, that's what it is. That's what it is.
Look at their shoes.
I was, yeah, we got to get off this subject. How are things in Nashville?
Things are amazing right now. Yeah,
Always.
except for it being so stinking hot.
It's hot everywhere right now, brother.
It's so hot.
Oh,
It is
Nashville's hot, not you. Nashville's hot.
Everywhere's hot. It's going to be 100 degrees in beautiful eastern Iowa today.
In Iowa?
In Iowa.
Wow.
The state.
Oh,
You familiar, Priscilla?
Remember that one?
I actually used to live there. So yes, I am.
Did you really?
How did I not know that? Where?
Okay, don't laugh at me.
Well, I'm going to.
I lived in what was called Page, Iowa. I think there's like one stoplight type of place.
You know what? I thought I knew every city in Iowa, and I don't think I've heard of Page. Where was it? Or is it? I'm assuming it's still there.
I don't know. All I know, it was the Omaha airport was the closest one to it. So it's
way
like
out in western Iowa.
Yeah, it's like really south.
We refer to those people as Nebraska.
It took me, oh my gosh, to go to Walmart, it was a trip, like a road trip, because the closest Walmart was an hour and some change far.
Yeah,
Holy moly.
you're over there close to around that's over there around Fort Dodge.
No, Fort Dodge is north,
Well,
northwest,
but Page is. I mean,
southwest.
if I had to pick a city that was close to it, it'd have to be Fort Dodge.
She just knows the name, not where it's located. I mean,
Yeah.
bless her heart.
It could be anywhere.
Yeah.
She still uses GPS. She could live in Orlando her whole life and still use GPS to get everywhere.
Oh, hold on.
So,
Let me tell you
did
something.
Sean-
Hold on. I'm the same way. Like I can
Thank
remember
you.
when MapQuest came out, I was like, now I can finally get somewhere. Now I know exactly where I'm going to go.
I was
And I'm
just
driving down the road with
it's being
pieces of
written.
paper, trying to look at where I'm supposed to go. And this is,
I was always very good at directions, and now it's ruined me. I follow my truck's GPS to wherever it goes. I can't get out of parking lots anymore. I don't even know what way to go when we're done. It's kind of a crazy ordeal.
And they change all the time.
I
All
try
the
to see how
roads.
far I can go without having to use it.
Well, apparently,
Like a game.
at some point in time, it took you to Page, Iowa. Did you rescue Priscilla from her life in Page, Iowa, and bring her to the bright lights of Nashville?
No,
That was before him.
yeah, it was before me.
Oh, so should we try to get that guy on for a guest, or
Yeah.
just take this out and post as well?
No. That was back in her cheerleading days.
The tree-tone shoes.
I don't know.
So tell us about the Tennessee CDL school. What's going on with you guys?
Oh, well,
Busy?
we're booked out at least a month or more in advance right now. It's going good. We've had a lot of support from some great companies out there. Like for instance, we just got a new simulator, and it's amazing. It's fun to use. I might be having too much fun with it after hours.
Like a big video game?
it's got to be. You have to play video games on that.
Oh yes,
You have to.
it's got the HDMI imports and everything. It's time.
Holy.
And it has according to the safety officer, it has like a place where you can hide your system in while it's still plugged into everything. So you would never know unless you change the inputs.
Wow.
That's cool.
So I was curious about this.
So
and
can-
maybe, if you don't answer if you don't want to. What's a simulator cost?
Shoot.
Ballpark?
6 figures.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Holy cow.
All right,
That's-
now what are you going to give me for now? One. I mean, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Did you like that? I went to auction mode. I'm in Page, Iowa right now.
Well,
That's fine.
so is your network bandwidth right now, apparently.
Is it bad?
It was during that time frame.
You were just frozen like this.
Well, that's happened to me several times while we do this. So here's hoping it doesn't happen again.
Hey, so Can you actually on the simulator? Can you add new programs to simulate different rainstorms, snowstorms?
Yeah. Yeah.
And is that where do you get those? I'm sure it's not. You have to pay for those downloads, right?
Apparently, those are preloaded.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is there one where like a black Trans Am pulls out in front of you, pulls back, gives you the high five, and then peels off again? Is there one like that?
She still doesn't get that reference, Matt. She's still not going to get that reference.
I know.
We talked about that.
Podcast we do, you try that reference. She's still not going to.
But how cool would that be? Because Marilyn Super sent me when she was at a TCA, ATA, BTA, whatever event. And she's there and she sends me a picture of her in the simulator. And there's all these cop cars in front of her. I'm like, see, that's where you need like a Smoking the Bandit simulator just to be able to pull up and take off. But anyway.
Yeah.
Where you look over to the right and there's a basset hound sitting there.
Every once in a while it blocks the mirror.
It's a bit of an inside joke that but if you go back and watch Just Truck It podcast with Shawn and Priscilla, Beach and I were guests on there a couple months ago, and we talked about that movie. We would not tell Priscilla the name of it because when you start getting into an age thing, because she didn't understand the reference. That day I ordered a print, and it still hasn't shown up here, but I ordered a print that will soon be in the background right over there of Buford T. Justice and the Bandit when he's ordering a Diablo sandwich and a Dr. Pepper. So I'm waiting patiently for this thing to show up.
Why is it taking so long?
My next background that I'm going to need is going to be the one of a special individual that's at an Italian restaurant.
Oh God, no. I would be dead, and rightly so.
It sounds like a story there.
Yeah. So I have another trivia question. This is a good.
We're not going to talk about that at all, Shawn.
No, yeah, we're completely good. But I do have a driving school / movie quote.
Ooh.
All right. Top Gun just came out. Have y'all seen the new Top Gun?
I have not.
I want to. So there's a picture on the internet.
Every night, it's Top Gun at the house because I put my CPAP machine on and I'm in there going.
Frank and Kenny Loggins.
But there is a picture of me and the volleyball. So I imitated the volleyball scene. So there is an image out there on Google if you want to try to find that out there, Priscilla.
I will not look for that.
You should. But there is a quote in the very first Top Gun where they get in trouble, and Goose and Maverick come out of their CO's office, and they just got yelled at. And Goose goes, "Mav, do you have the name of that truck driving school? I think it's called blank. Do we still have that? I think I may need it." What was the name of the school?
I'm Googling this.
No. After.
Yeah.
Okay.
After. No, our listeners, can you put it in the comments and let Priscilla know?
But it is an actual truck driving school, and I went online and looked, yes, and they had a ton of commercials, and something to check out.
Was it the ones that had the table setups at the convenience stores? Learn how to drive a big rig.
They probably had that, but they were legit. They were it's legit commercials.
Okay, that's awesome. I mean,
if that's homework, I don't know the answer to that one either.
Yep. So anyway, I have been thinking hard for that before I get, and I can't. I think that is a quality question. That's a good one. That's a good one.
So wait,
go ahead, Matt. Right now, go ahead. Just go ahead. It's okay, right? Yeah, there you go.
You don't know the answer either?
Oh, I know the answer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know the answer.
The whole point is
you're just not going to share it with us.
No. I want the listeners to put it in our comments, either on the YouTube channel, subscribe, or LinkedIn. Make sure you put the answers in there. I'm telling you, it's a great trivia question in an actual legit school.
pointing down
You
for
keep pointing
comments.
over here. You're pointing over there.
Because I was trying to figure out where would the subscribe button be, and
But you're
then
explaining
the
to us
comment
where to go
button.
in case of an emergency landing.
I thought we were doing Top Gun for a second again. My CPAP machine.
So Priscilla, the last time I talked to you, no, I guess we spoke in Nashville a couple weeks ago, but you were practicing for a golf outing.
Yes.
What that was it the CVTA?
Yeah, it went really well.
Did you guys win?
So the only people who beat us, and I'm
So
sure
you
they're
didn't win.
listening.
Yes or no question?
They only beat us because they bought a whole bunch of mulligans.
They gave out mulligans for $5 a piece, and I think they bought all of the mulligans that they had to pay
They
They bought like 20 mulligans or so.
a piece.
Yeah, and we only bought 5 for the whole group. So that's why they beat us. But if it
So it's
wasn't
under
because of that,
protest.
we would have won.
Now, can you imagine me in my tree torn jorts and some other shirt and riding around as a beer cart dude?
Yeah, I do vision it, because I've actually seen you with your golf outside the house in the fart machine. You'd be hiding in the bushes waiting for everyone to swim.
No, I'm talking about selling. I've always wanted to, like, that would be a weekend job for me to go and be a beer cart dude.
Yeah, I
Me
can see you do that.
too. I feel like that would be so fun. Get drunk in the middle of the day. I love it. No,
Obviously,
Do
she
that without
doesn't-
driving a
it doesn't
golf
happen
cart,
enough.
Priscilla.
in the golf cart and just passing out beer.
Well, I think you're technically supposed to sell it.
You're supposed to sell it, yeah.
Yeah,
That could be an issue.
I understand, but
You sure?
yes. But we can all drink. Like, you buy one, I buy one. It just
One for you and 1, 2 for me.
Two
Well,
for
Every
me.
golf course owner in America is cringing right now.
because you're at a bar and you never bought a bartender a drink, right?
Absolutely. But I think the problem is the bartender giving it away.
No, they buy it and then they buy mine. Come on.
So I buy my beer and your beer.
Exactly. That's how bartending works.
All right. I
At
guess
least
I
it's
was
usually her
unaware.
tip money. I don't know.
Well,
She
you
never
need
make any money the whole time.
It's not about the money.
circle of life. Tip.
Yeah. Did you
till.
guys have fun in Nashville?
Oh, it's always fun in Nashville.
Did you freeze? He froze.
That's
Yo,
it. That was
no,
a
no,
good spot.
That's
though.
a really
That was-
nice picture of him. He's
That is, I mean, this guy, we had a nice fight, and it's like,
It's like,
oh
like,
my
there's
goodness,
smoke coming out the ear a little bit.
it is. I mean, look at that, man. It's classic. I mean, I could
Does
totally
it
offer
still
that up.
record during this time?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Like, we now have control of it.
Oh,
I do have I do have a real question about the schools.
Okay.
So
Please.
going back to truck driving schools in general, right now with y'all, and you said the classes are full.
Yeah.
I mean, are you seeing like a backlog of people just in waiting? And how long are they waiting to be able to get into a truck driving school on average? Now, I know you're not speaking for all schools.
Yeah.
But for the most part, especially, for y'all, what are you hearing?
I mean, from just the recent convention that we were all at, the CVTA, I mean, it pretty much was hands down. Most schools have at least a month waiting list or more. So obviously with the pay increases in the industry, the kind of light into how important trucking is with COVID and everything that happened, the recognition is getting out there that, hey, this is a job that you could do after 3 weeks, get trained, make some good money, more money than if I did this job or that job or got extra schooling doing this. And so more and more, especially females, we have seen an influx
oh yeah.
of females.
Why is
Half our
that?
class.
Why do you think? I mean, there's got to be a reason why you're seeing that influx. Is it just ads that are going out? push online? I mean, what do y'all? Why do you think that's contributed to the huge increase in female?
Probably a combination of all of that.
I think it is a combination of everything, of just changing the thought process of just like influencers, I'm sure, are out there. They've just trucking, everything has an influencer, right? Even trucking does.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more women in trucking influencers showing that they can, as a woman driver, you can actually do it. And that's been a big thing. I mean, women in trucking has been going hard in the paint, I see. And that's been a huge thing. A lot of just even walking up to them, a lot of them just say my uncle was one and he said I could be one. So that's why I'm becoming one.
Yeah, I think more and more are finding out about, like I said, the pay as well, and then the job is, being more conducive to them with the technology and quality of life of the trucks, of how you can get through and not have too many issues like it was back in the Smokey and Bandit days with your things that you need. So they're watching, they're looking it up and educating themselves and seeing other women truck drivers. And so I've just seen a big influx there.
I also saw where a lot of companies are allowing children to come on the truck. And I think that also has helped,
especially in the summer months, when you think about,
yes,
when they're out of school, they can get on the road for a week or two. Now, I'm sure they have to pay a fee for that and sign documents. Whatever, if you get hurt in the truck, it's not our responsibility. So forth and so on. But yeah,
isn't there typically a minimum age?
Yeah, but if you can, if let's say Shawn and I were teaming and we have our 10-year-old homeschooling, Shawn's driving while I'm homeschooling, and then we switch. And there has been so much of that and so much different variations of that, that they have now been able to see is possible. So they're out here just killing it.
Yeah. Good deal. The now going back, when you're a lot of you mentioned pay is up, right? Are y'all seeing kind of that fight that we're seeing a lot of just in ad placement and trying to hire a regular experienced driver? You seen that on the student side where the partner carriers, are you seeing, well, now we're paying this a week and now we're going to pay this a week? Are you seeing that huge jump?
Absolutely.
How much of that, I mean, the past, let's say 3 months, are you seeing like it's just crazy?
When we get sent documentation, like the brochures and the flyers and things to give out, in a couple of months, we have to throw that away because there's new ones that came out with different changes in it, and so that's we're seeing that. We're also seeing a lot more smaller companies fighting to get in there with the big dogs that hire students and want some of that pie. I mean, if I was to let a recruiter come in here to the school for every company that contacts us wanting students, there would not be any training that would happen in any day for that person's entire time here, because there's that many recruiters calling to come in.
Unreal.
Have you seen an influx of companies who are lowering their barrier to entry, like the people that maybe 2 years ago required a 6 months or a year that'll say, we'll take someone from an accredited school now?
Yep,
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, just in the past 6 months, I can think of 10.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. And we probably need to see 10 more or 100 more.
Yeah. It's either adapt and overcome or get stuck behind.
See, I would love to know those 10 and to be able to go back and go, okay, what's your training program look like? Or are you just doing it being desperate?
Yeah, probably.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the ones that worry me we got to get drivers somehow. Let's go get students. Let's go get them. Go get them. I'm going to bring them in. And then
without a plan.
Yes. And their training is horrible. They get yelled, it's crazy. I mean, I get so many, and maybe I'm wrong by saying this, Shawn, but a lot of the schools, and I'm not trying to water down the truck driving school at all, but y'all have a standard that you got to follow, and your goal is to get them their Class A. That's it, right? You're showing them the safety based on FMCSA. Everything is to follow all the program, get that needed hours in. But your job is not to go, okay, let me talk to you about what it's like OTR for this week in school. Let's talk about what it's going to be like when you do this in teaming. And that's not the case, is it? Because I think a lot of carriers, I used to hear, well, these students ain't no good. They don't know how to do this. They ain't going. It's like they're not teaching them. I had one kid, an individual was like, well, they just don't know anything about electronic logs and this and this. And I'm like, because a lot of your electronic logs, they're different. They're not the same across the board, right? And you're still teaching them on paper, right?
Yeah. So we teach them, on paper and kind of electronic to a degree.
Yeah.
More of the computer side of it, because that's part of the entry-level driver training theory. But you are 100% correct. I want to reflect back to, we just had a podcast with Derek Lathers from Warner.
Yep.
And in that entire segment, we talked about this entirely, this part right here. And the analogy that we used was, if we're building the house, truck driving school is the foundation. Mm-hmm. It's literally just pouring the slab, the concrete, the solid foundation that it's not going to crack or fall apart. Like, that's what the house is built on. And a few things, you got to have your plumbing in there lined up, and some electrical in that. So a few things, like we might teach coupling, we might teach some logs, we might teach certain things that they're going to need to know out there. They have nothing to do with a CDL. They're going to be in that foundation, but the actual walls and roof don't go up until at the carrier, when they get that training there at that carrier. And then, even then, for a year to 2 years of time and learning and doing the job, do you actually put on the actual paint and the decorations and fully make that house nice? Because it takes time to learn the job, not just in a short period of time, but in a long period of time.
Yeah, I had some guy was making comments on my LinkedIn the other day about that same thing, and just, well, they don't know they don't know this, they don't know that. I'm sitting going, they're not supposed to. They know it when they get to the carrier. The carrier's going to teach them the ins and outs of their carrier. Yeah. And that's where they learn a lot of the meat and the potatoes. But to your point, the foundation, man, you guys are doing a phenomenal job when it comes to setting that. I love that analogy, setting that foundation. Absolutely.
Yeah, you got to make sure it's solid enough that anything that they're taught the carrier is just an add-on.
So you mentioned that you got a new simulator.
Yeah.
Here's an idea. What if?
Oh boy.
Listen to me. What if you put up walls and you enclose it in? Put a little bunk in the back, and you simulate me and you as a team driving, simulating from Dalton, Georgia to Washington, whatever it is. And we're going to come up with it, and we have to take a load all the way to Washington, drop it off and come back.
Oh yeah.
You have to live in that truck. We have to live in that simulator for that amount of time to what it takes to go up there and back, walk out to, we have to pull off and get out to go use the bathroom, shower, I'll even bring flip-flops, the whole thing, just to simulate that whole concept. But still, what does that, would that be something that would be successful in the sense of training wise, versus also people would love to watch that YouTube video?
People would love to watch that. I think more so than actually wanting to be stuck there.
Than actually.
Can you imagine that?
25 comments and this happened.
All I know is
I just need people commenting to yes, please make this happen.
I could
25 of them. That's all we need.
I could just see myself driving, and I'm just paying attention, trying not to hit no random people walking across the thing. How that simulator sends them out, and then all of a sudden I get a wet willy.
Yeah. With Beach as a co-driver, what's the over-under on how many bridge abutments you pass before you just drive right into one?
I wonder if there's a truck even gonna be alive at the end of this.
You know what? I realize it's a joke, and I realize it's made kind of as a goof, but the concept of it, it's not a terrible idea.
It's not.
No.
I mean, honestly, I think that's probably the most shocking thing. I mean, they're going to come out of the Tennessee CDL school fully educated, knowing how to do everything except how to live with a driver trainer for 6 weeks. I mean, that'd be hard. I mean, how do you ever, I don't know, simulate that? But man, just the life skills type portion of it is there's something there.
If you could survive a night with your instructor,
yeah, without
in the simulator, you're golden.
No weapons involved. No weapons allowed.
Pay our instructor enough for that.
No.
Hey, I want to get back and talk. You did the interview on your podcast with Derek Lathers, and he said something that stuck with me. It's so simple, and I never even thought about it. When you guys were at the beginning talking about electronic vehicles, electronic trucks, and everybody thinking that's going to be the answer. He's kind of like, what do you think's going to happen to the price of electricity when everybody needs it? And just something that like getting hit in the head with a smart stick.
Yeah, the other thing that happened is when they built their terminal, they had about 15 different supercharger for the trucks. Go ahead, if they're going ahead and pouring the concrete, they might as well have that set up there for whenever it does come down the pipe, that it's already there. So they're putting the dimensions in with the power company and what they needed. They had gotten from the company that made the superchargers, and they came back to them saying that this ain't correct. So they went back to their people checking the actual data and came back, no, this is correct. And they're like, well, that's enough electricity for the entire town for a day. Like, that's literally what we produce to send to those 15 superchargers is what we do in a whole day for the whole city.
See, my plug-in, if I was the terminal manager for that, it would look like Clark Griswold's Christmas Vacation, the plug-in.
All of the
just like knocking off that. That one's out. Let me it's out. Let me replace a fuse, guys. I got this. We're good. I watched one that was neat about Tesla's truck. I don't know if you guys saw that. It was a while back. But part of it, he said, you'll never have to need new brake drums whatsoever.
Yeah.
Because when you're applying the brakes, it does what it does. The friction somehow creates power that goes back to the power cell for the truck. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's kind of scary that how far we've come so quickly, and we're still just barely scratching the surface. It's going to look so different in 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, just anyway, hey,
for drivers, real quick. If anything for drivers, this is the time to get in the industry in reality, because as we're seeing with technology and everything, the quality of life for them and the ability to have an easier job as time goes on is getting better and better. And they're still going to have a licensed driver in there. They're still going to have to pay you. Same as there's still an airplane that we get on and fly somewhere. And there's still a pilot in the cockpit, and then they still put it on autopilot. So
I don't know if United has pilots. I still debate on whether or not when I get on there.
They must have, because my flight's delayed waiting for them every time.
Yeah, but I mean, if I was a driver, sitting in that seat, I wouldn't have to be as worried or deal with as much in a day, and I could get, some personal things done. I could read, I could do stuff, in the future, and my life is just going to be a lot easier than, what it used to be.
Yeah. Again, man, we've come a long way. Tell us where people can find you guys, LinkedIn, and tell us about the podcast quick. Beach has to get to cheerleading practice.
Oh, yes. Don't forget your shoes. Check us out on YouTube. It's Tennessee CDL School, and honestly, just Truck It is our podcast. You can find that on Google, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor. We're on all of those. Just Truck It. And it's the whole point of that show is just specifically for all drivers, new and old, that get to, see a behind the scenes take on the industry from ones that do those jobs.
It's a good one. It's a good one. I would encourage you to check it out. I really would.
Thank you.
Beach, we got to go. You got cheerleading practice. Priscilla's got to go learn to be a bartender. Shawn and I have to go to work.
Yeah. I got trucks I got to fix. I think this one's got a nail appointment here today or something. I don't know.
First off, it's actually pay week, so I have pay checks to make. All right.
That was one of these deals. I'm gonna have to practice. We'll practice that. All right. Hey, everybody, thank you very much for coming on and talking to us for a little bit. Until next time, be
Always a
safe
pleasure.
and keep on trucking.
See you guys.
See ya. Always a pleasure.